What's up, my New Yorkers? Today we're in Atlantic City on the marina side of Atlantic City. That's the Borgata and the Water Club directly across the way. Right now am at the Golden Nugget. I'm in a room here getting ready to check out. As you can see, the Golden Nugget is right on the marina here, and those tall buildings in the background, well, those are the hotels and casinos on the boardwalk. But again, this isn't about the Golden Nugget. We're finally doing a Borgata buffet video. That's right, you guys have been asking for it, and I've been dying to do it, of course. And like I said, I'm just checking out of the Golden Nugget, so this is going to be a lunch buffet. I also did a dinner buffet. That video will be coming out in the near future. But just keep in mind that the buffet we're going to today is your all-you-can-eat Borgata lunch buffet. You ready to check it out? You hungry? Let's go. This is Clarice, the Miss America crown. She's hidden in all my Atlantic City videos. Sometimes she's easy to spot, and other times she can be quite elusive. If you spot her, leave a comment below on the timestamp where you found her, and you'll get a shout out on an upcoming video. And speaking of shout outs, once again, congratulations to Deborah Camacho, who found Mitzi, the rubber ducky showgirl, in my latest Las Vegas video, The Mandalay Bay. Deborah, you're really on a roll. Speaking of rolls, I'm starved, and we're just about here at the buffet, the Borgata buffet. Again, this is their lunch buffet. I'm gonna do the usual flyover, just check everything out before I start loading up my plates. I'll walk the entire buffet with you guys, and then we'll pick and choose what we want. Well, I guess I'll pick and choose what I want since you're not really here, but just play along. As you probably saw, the lunch buffet is about $24, and I came directly to the buffet because, like I said, I'm starved, but I did some gambling after the buffet and I got comped, a food comp for $25. That's just my luck. So the rule is, gamble first, then eat. Also, while I remember, you saw I held up my M-Life MasterCard, and I use that for everything. I use it just everyday daily stuff, gas, groceries, restaurants, and when you're in an MGM property, it's multiplied, I think, 3 or 5 times you get points when you're on property. And those actually add up to comps as well. So if you're interested, it's a great card to have, especially if you visit the MGM properties a lot like I do. It just adds to your points. And they don't pay me to say that, I just wish they did. I even pay my utility bills with that MasterCard, and you have no idea how much all that adds up, especially for points. And then at the end of the month, I just write one check and it's all done. Actually, now that I'm here, I'm really not that hungry. I think I'm just going to have some lettuce and carrot sticks if you guys don't mind, and we'll call it a video. Okay, just kidding about the whole lettuce and carrots thing, but that's what they're starting off here at the Borgata buffet. Salad stuff and salad fixings. Next up we have some soups on this nice winter day. We have chicken noodle soup, we have sausage and potato soup, and vegetable soup. Next up we have some Asian. We have some dumpling sauce, some chicken dumplings, some edamame, I think I said that correctly, well, soybeans, and some pork buns, which is what my friends called me for a week after I left here. Here we have some vegetable fried rice and mussels in a black bean sauce. Next up is some spring rolls, some eggplant with black bean sauce. They're really pushing those black beans. They might have too many cans in the kitchen. And some General Tso chicken. Next up we have some guacamole and sour cream. We have some beef fajitas on the left, some chicken fajitas on the right, and some tortillas in the middle. And I can't read the signs here, but it looks like some sliced pork. I'm not sure what that next dish is, but the rest of it is definitely mac and cheese and some fried chicken. Here we have some grilled chicken, some mushroom ravioli with a red wine demi-glaze, some broccoli with garlic, and some turkey gravy and some brown sauce. Looks like we're heading towards the carving station. Here we have some au jus sauce and some horseradish sauce. Looks like they're carving up some prime rib. We have mashed potatoes in the middle and turkey breast on the other side. Some cranberry sauce and some marshmallow sweet potatoes. And of course some sides like green beans and sliced russet potatoes. Here we have chicken with a balsamic glaze and some salmon with Asian slaw. And again, I can't read the signs here, but it looks like rosemary chicken, some kind of vegetable rice dish, and more salmon with lemon this time. And some roasted root vegetables. Some stuff for the kids. We got french fries, chicken nuggets, and jalapeno poppers. I'll be back here. Some spaghetti with tomato sauce and some braised meatballs. Somebody needs to clean this up. And both of these contain mussels with tomato, garlic, and wine. And of course, it wouldn't be a lunch buffet without pizza. They have quite a few to choose from here, and I'm sure I'll be back for some of this. Here we have some cold salads. We have coleslaw, we have some kielbasa and potato salad, we have some ham and pasta salad, and some chicken and cranberry salad. And of course some fresh fruit. And I'm sorry, but these platters look like urinals. Should I have not said that? Bon appetit. And here we have the dessert station. It looks like some bread pudding, some tiramisu. Up top is all kinds of biscotti and cookies. Looks like these are brownies and blondies. Different types of layer cakes, a variety of pastries and buns, and here we have an assortment of gelato. And that's pretty much it for our flyover. Now I'm going to fix my first plate, which I'd like to be Asian inspired. And by the way, don't mind my New York blue puffy coat sleeve. It's going to be in every shot going forward. Gonna take some pot stickers and some dipping sauce. And I'm going to take some of these pork buns. Did you ever do like a dim sum afternoon? Dim sum is Asian appetizers. And if you spend like a Sunday afternoon or a Saturday afternoon, a day off, you spend a couple hours in a restaurant and you just have some tea and some Asian appetizers. It's a wonderful way to spend a few hours. I don't know if that's available across the US. Leave a comment if you've ever done it or if you'd like to do it. And I'm sure it's a great way to raise your blood sugar levels and blood pressure. When I eat like this, I always feel the dipping sauces make the meal. Those chicken dumplings will taste great one way dipped in teriyaki sauce and great another way dipped in a warmer chili sauce. And as far as I'm concerned, if you can't dip a good spring roll, what's the point? And of course I've got to have some fried rice, but it's got scrambled eggs in it, and you know how I feel about eggs.
Gross.
But I'll just pick around them, I guess. And of course no Asian plate would be complete without some spring rolls, and I like spring rolls, and from what I understand, they're healthy. I mean, they have the word spring in them. That's gotta be healthy, right? And I love eggplant. I mean, after potatoes, eggplant is my favorite vegetable. And General Tso chicken is one of my favorite Chinese meals, and I'm sure this is healthy as well. I mean, it's named after a general, and with all that military training, I'm sure he ate well and was a healthy guy, and well, that makes me feel good eating this. And some lo mein, I like that a lot. I asked the person behind the counter what lo mein meant in Chinese, and they told me it stood for little calories. So I took a little extra. Chopsticks? No thank you. I'll take a fork, or perhaps a forklift. I got back to my table, my unsweetened iced tea was waiting for me, and I have to say I really overloaded this plate. I think my eyes were bigger than my stomach in this case. It's all Asian food, and the plates I have to say that the Borgata uses for their buffet are actually regular sized plates. They're not those miniature plates where you can't put any food on them, so this is a lot of food. The lo mein was very good, the noodles were tender, and there was just a hint of sweet and salty in it, and it was just very flavorful. And by the way, if you haven't noticed, the lighting here at the table is not as good as the lighting up by the buffet, so everything looks a little bit more darker here. Next up, the General Tso chicken. I think I've said in other videos that every time I order General Tso chicken, it's almost always mushy. And I don't know if it's the way this meal is prepared, if there's something about the sauce. I know I've had it once or twice where the breading was crispy and the chicken inside was tender, but in general it's always mushy, and this does fall into that mushy category. However, again, the flavor's fantastic. Next up are the pork buns, which is actually pork stuffed inside a steamed bun. It looks like raw dough, but it isn't. It's steamed, and it looks like these are in some kind of a sauce, but they weren't. They're just plain. I put the sauce on them back at the buffet table. By the way, I don't know if you've noticed yet, I take very big bites. I have a very big mouth. So far I'm enjoying everything on the plate, but the pork buns were somewhat unimpressive, not that flavorful. Next up is the grilled eggplant, and I really enjoyed this dish. It was, I love eggplant, and this was grilled with some other vegetables, including onions and some other things in there. I think there's some peppers in here, but I really did enjoy it. It's cold, by the way. This is a cold eggplant dish, and I just love eggplant to begin with, so this was one of my favorite things on the dish so far. Next up are the dumplings, and I don't know about you, but I've never had a bad dumpling, have you? I really enjoy them, and with the right dipping sauce, they can be fantastic. Unless I'm told or read what's inside the dumpling, it's usually a mystery to me, and I'm pretty sure this is stuffed with pork. But you know how meat gets when you process it so much, it just kind of becomes a mystery meat? I'm pretty sure this is pork, but I could be wrong. Maybe I don't want to know. I'm just going to continue to enjoy them. They're really good. Finally, at least for this plate, we have the spring rolls. The outside was extremely crispy, which is a good thing, so I tried to cut it with the fork. Didn't work, so I used the forks that I was born with. They always work. I believe these are vegetable spring rolls. Sometimes you get some shrimp in some or pork in others, but the spring rolls I think are just cabbage and like carrots and stuff inside. So obviously I enjoyed everything on this plate, including those spring rolls. Just by the looks of the plate, I can't believe how full it was and how empty it is now. Again, I was very hungry. I don't think I've eaten since the day before. It's about 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. All I had was a coffee in the morning, and I did a lot of walking, so I came here with an appetite, and it's slowly going away. Okay, time for plate 2. You guys ready? This dish that I'm taking from now, I didn't know what it was when I did my flyby, but upon close inspection, I realized that it's actually buffalo cauliflower. It's fried cauliflower with buffalo sauce, and I like both of those, so I'm taking some of that, and then I'm going to wait for some of this mac and cheese. I can't wait to get back to the table to try this mac and cheese. Not too long ago I did the buffet here in Atlantic City at the Hard Rock, and they had some of the best mac and cheese outside of homemade that I've ever had in a restaurant, and I'm dying to compare the two, so we'll see what happens. I'm gonna pass on that fried chicken for now. Maybe I'll come back to it later. These look like stuffed shells. Were these here before? I don't think so, and it looks like a fresh plate, so I think they just put these out. These are the wild mushroom ravioli in a cream sauce. I love this dish, and I actually eat it once in a while when I go to Olive Garden. That's right, I said Olive Garden. I'm not a snob, people. I walk into an Olive Garden with my head held high. They recently opened up their largest store on the Las Vegas Strip this past year, and I'm definitely going there to do a video when I go to Vegas in a few weeks. I'm starting to look at this plate and realize how crazy it is. It's mostly all pasta, different types of pasta with mashed potatoes now. I'm rather proud of the plate I made, but I did notice about 2 square inches were still left empty, so I'm going back to that marshmallow sweet potato casserole. Now, for the record, in case you were wondering, I don't normally eat like this. I'm just a casual sit-down burger steak kind of guy. As a matter of fact, except for the channel, I rarely go to buffets. This is borderline gluttony. Wait, I take that back. This is full-blown gluttony. But hey, I guess an occasional gluttony experience is okay, right? Now let's dig in. First up, the wild mushroom ravioli in a cream sauce. These actually taste pretty good. They could use a little more cream sauce. The mushrooms are fantastic, and they are wild mushrooms. They're not those regular button mushrooms. And the pasta is nice and thin and light. It could, like I said, use more cream sauce. Perhaps I just didn't take enough out of the dish when I was putting it on my dish. Next up is the stuffed shell. It looks like in like a vodka cream sauce, and I have to say, not that good. I'm comparing it to my mom. She makes the best stuffed shells in the world. She makes her own ricotta actually from scratch, and it's extremely light. So these are probably good, but I just have my mom's in the back of my head, and there's no comparison. Let's try some of that mac and cheese and see how it stacks up against the Hard Rock Buffet mac and cheese here in Atlantic City. Well, there's no comparison. This is more that frozen supermarket variety that you microwave when you get home. Whereas the Hard Rock, you could tell they made it right then and there. It was ooey, it was gooey with lots of herbs and seasonings, and there's no comparison. By the way, if you haven't noticed, and I have mentioned it in other videos, I eat one thing on my plate at a time. I always have since I was a kid. I don't move on to something new until I finish or I'm finished eating what I had previously. And I'm not obsessive compulsive, I'm far from it, but that's just the way I've always eaten since I was a child. The marshmallow sweet potato casserole is pretty good, but then again, how can you screw this up? I mean, it's a sweet potato. The only thing you can do wrong is burn it, and marshmallows are marshmallows. But it's a good combination. You'd never think these two together were a good combination, but they really are. A little bit too sweet for me right now, though. Look what I found, a little treasure. I totally forgot about the fried buffalo cauliflower. That's actually really good. It stands up to all this other heavy food, and the flavors just burst out of it. I really enjoyed that cauliflower. And finally, at least for this plate, the mashed potatoes and gravy were, well, they taste like restaurant mashed potatoes and gravy, nothing spectacular. Recently, one of you commented in one of my videos that I complain too much, and my first reaction was, no I don't, and now I'm beginning to wonder. Alright, time for plate 3. I don't know if I'm going to get through this one or not. We'll find out. I wonder how these other buffet reviewers do this, especially Derek from Las Vegas. He's one of my favorites. He's actually the king of buffet reviewers, and I'm proud to promote his channel on my channel. But I'm not sure if he actually eats everything he puts on his plate, whereas I do, and maybe that's my mistake. That's vegetable rice, and these are roasted root vegetables, or potatoes and parsnips and carrots and things like that. Simply because I haven't eaten enough carbs yet. Of course, I'm going to put some of this kids' food on my plate. You might be wondering why I dropped those tongs and I reached for another one. It's simply because the tongs that I first reached for were about 300 degrees sitting under those lights, and I burned my hand. I'm gonna pass up on the spaghetti and meatballs today, as well as these mussels. I'm not a mussel eater, so I know some people love them, and there's plenty here. If you do like them, they do look good. It's just not my cup of tea. And of course, we'll have to try the pizza. This looks like a supreme slice with meat and vegetables on it. Alrighty, now that I'm back at the table, by the way, that's not a supreme slice of pizza. It doesn't have any meat on it, which is fine with me. It's a veggie slice. And just a shot of my surroundings here at the Borgata buffet. It's very nice here. It's a nice atmosphere. It doesn't really feel like a buffet atmosphere. And of course the lighting is fantastic for eating, not so much for filming, but we always manage. First up is the rice. It's a vegetable rice, not to be confused with like a fried rice. It's just rice with vegetables. It's light and very tasty, very fresh. The vegetables are fresh, and I enjoyed the rice. Next up are the roasted root vegetables. Again, these are potatoes, parsnips, carrots, any kind of vegetable that's actually a root. And they are roasted in some kind of a glaze. It's not a sweet glaze, but it's very nice. I enjoy roasted vegetables. I think I mentioned that earlier in this video, especially root vegetables, and I enjoyed this side dish as well. And for the kid in me, which is actually a lot of me, I got some poppers, some jalapeno poppers. Let's see how they taste. They're good. They're nice and crispy on the outside, and they're loaded with cheese on the inside. I'm amazed when I have jalapenos how they differ in heat from one to another. It's the same type of pepper, but once in a while you'll get one of those jalapenos that are extremely hot, and other times they have no heat at all. I don't understand it, but poppers are funny that way, aren't they? And finally, at least for this plate, we have the slice of vegetable pizza. Let's see how that tastes. And right now I'm giving it the crust test to see if it droops, and unfortunately, yes it does. And as you can see, I'm struggling with it. It's hard to do this, people, with one hand. Okay, this was on its way to being the perfect slice of pizza. The vegetables are fantastic, fresh, very tasty. The crust, you can tell, is homemade, and it's got that charred, like brick oven taste to it. The only problem, I think, is because the oven wasn't hot enough, the crust could have been a little more crispier, but this was a good slice of pizza. And finally, we're off to the dessert area of the buffet, which I know a lot of you people were waiting for, so let's check it out. Alrighty, I think I'm going to start with one of these cinnamon Danish that have icing on them. I couldn't help notice the dessert plates are much, much smaller. This looks good. It's some kind of layer cake. And I'm not sure what this is either. It looks like some type of a brownie. By the way, nothing on this dessert table is labeled. I originally thought these were some kind of a blondie, you know, those brownies, but apparently they're cheesecake. And there's a yellow layer cake up top. I'm a sucker for layer cakes, and unfortunately I'm meeting my quota with these plates here. And here we are, we have what looks like a chocolate layer cake, the cinnamon Danish with icing, and some kind of a brownie. And then we have something, I'm not quite sure if it's cheesecake or some kind of hybrid brownie, something or other. And of course that yellow layer cake, which looks wonderful. It looks so good, I think I'm gonna start with that first. That's really good. It's a yellow cake. It's very moist, and it's not buttercream frosting. I don't really care for buttercream frosting. This is a vanilla frosting, and it's in between 3 layers of cake. So it's got a lot of frosting on it, but it's good. It's moist. I'm really enjoying this. Actually, that filling in between the layers looks a little bit different than the icing on the outside. I'm not too sure about that, but whatever it is, it's all good. Out of everything here, this is the most mysterious. At first, I thought it was one of those, those flat cheesecakes in a sheet pan. It looks like some kind of marbled cheesecake, but after having some, it's just some kind of a odd brownie. It tastes just like a regular brownie, but for some reason it's marbled with something else, but it tastes just like a regular brownie. I guess you just can't judge a book by its cover. Here we have another layer cake, and this is more of a mocha layer cake. This is really good too, like that other layer cake. It's very moist, it's got a mocha flavor to it, but it's not a strong mocha flavor, and that chocolate icing really blends nicely with it. I really need a cup of coffee with these desserts, and I'm just too busy right now to get up and get myself a cup of coffee, so I'm just gonna have to deal with my unsweetened iced tea and these desserts right now. This here turned out to just be another odd brownie. It's got a black layer, a white layer, and a thin layer of raspberry, and then it's topped off with some kind of drizzled icing. It's pretty good, very moist. Finally, we have the Danish, which isn't cinnamon as I thought. It's got some kind of preserved filling in it. It wasn't raspberry, it wasn't strawberry, it wasn't cherry. It's kind of like a mystery filling, but it wasn't bad at all. But it's screaming for coffee, which of course there is none on the table, unfortunately. So again, I don't go to too many buffets, but the ones that I've been to recently for this channel, they all seem to have those little shot glasses with some custards or a mousse or a tiramisu in them. Each one with only like a teaspoon or 2 of whatever the item is. This buffet doesn't have those, and I've really grown accustomed to those at the buffets, so that's kind of missing here, and hopefully when I go to my next buffet they'll have some of those little shot glasses, because I've really come to like those at the dessert table. And that's it for the Borgata buffet. I spent 25 bucks, and boy did I get my money's worth. I came in starved and I'm leaving extremely full. I really had a good time. The food was very good here. This again is the lunch buffet. The video on the dinner buffet will be coming out shortly on the New York channel. Tell me what you thought of the Borgata lunch buffet. Did you see anything you liked? Did anything gross you out? Or perhaps my huge bites maybe grossed you out? Leave a comment below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please like, comment, ask some questions, and most importantly, subscribe by clicking on the button on the left. You can visit all of my New York videos by clicking on the top right, or check out my videos on other favorite places to visit by clicking on the bottom right. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you around the city.